Forgotten Lore, Episode 1, The Revelations of Dr. Modesto by Alan Harrington. Welcome, y'all, to Forgotten Lore. This is going to be a regular YouTube show, quote unquote. It's going to be me in front of a laptop, basically, talking about works of obscure fiction that have been forgotten unjustly and deserve to be better remembered. And sometimes these are works of fiction that are presenting a point of view that is outside the scope of ordinary literary discourse. Sometimes these are transgressive works of fiction. Sometimes these are works of fiction that are difficult to describe or difficult to categorize, and so they tend to fall through the cracks of scholarship and literary criticism in the generations that follow. Sometimes these are too dark for the standard literary scholarly examination of texts, but for whatever reason, and sometimes it may be just we don't know why these works haven't been remembered. But in any case, these are books that deserve to be remembered, and authors who deserve to be remembered. And this is my way of trying to help us all remember them. A little bit about today's author, Alan Harrington. Alan Harrington, let's go kind of look at his accomplishments first. He was a National Book Award finalist in 1960 for a nonfiction book called Life in the Crystal Palace. He was also praised for his nonfiction work by Gore Vidal, among others. He was an associate of Jack Kerouac and Allen Ginsberg, although not exactly a beat figure. But he was, praised by fairly well-known folks of his time. And yet today, if you go looking for Alan Harrington on Wikipedia, all you're going to find is a reference to a soccer player who I don't think is our Alan Harrington. Maybe he did play soccer, but he's not the Alan Harrington mentioned as a soccer player on Wikipedia. Harrington died in 1997, I believe of leukemia, which is a shame. And one of his enthusiasms in his nonfiction work was the idea, I think, of defeating death. It was like this idea that, maybe kind of along the lines of the transhumanist movement that you hear about these days. But that's neither here nor there. That's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about the Revelations of Dr. Modesto. Lovely cover, really, really a fun, interesting cover, I think. And that was one of the things that lured me in. The title lured me in, too. I got this at a half-price bookstore in Bloomington, Indiana. Actually, an outlet store. I got this for the whopping price of $1. This book is out of print in the United States right now, which is a shame. But how can I describe the Revelations of Dr. Modesto to you? It's a very dark satire, a piece of black humor that's really about psychological nihilism. Our hero basically our hero's name is Hal Hingham, by the way, and he is an insurance salesman who is very frustrated in his life, not a very good insurance salesman. And he answers an ad in a magazine from Dr. Modesto, from the title. And Dr. Modesto sends him basically this self-help material, which says that the key to happiness is to erase your personality and mirror the personality of those around you, putting it in a succinct way. And that sounds very trite and very simplistic, but the execution is phenomenal. And it has really one of the darkest endings I've read in a long time, even though it's not a horror book. One of my favorite quotes from the book is this from the pamphlet that he receives. To survive, we must become happy nothings. And with that, I leave you for this week.